said, I am Essence, and I want to start by just sharing what has brought me here to this moment. Okay, so for several years, I felt really lost. I heard some of you saying that you were, seeking, looking to grow. But for several years, I just felt extremely lost, and I was just unhappy, and I was miserable. And to cover all that up, I drank about 6.5 days a week. Not just, oh, let's have a glass of wine with dinner. No, like straight shots of vodka back to back, like I love vodka. And I spent a lot of life just in a state of a hangover. But one of the things that I would do was I would cry. Like I would just cry my heart out. And I couldn't really figure out why. I was just so miserable. It wasn't like I was just in some, messed up life situation. I wasn't. But I just was so unhappy. And something in me started waking up, but I was fighting it because it's different from everybody else. Everybody else is hanging out and partying, but some part of me wants to read and wants to learn and to grow. But then I was kind of made fun of for having those ideas, so I just kept stuffing it down. And then somebody gave me the book The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and I learned that I was not my mind. And that was the first time I really felt freedom, because I realized I wasn't all those insane thoughts that went through my head on a daily basis. And then I started making jewelry, and I feel like tapping into that stream of creativity started to awaken me even more. And this time I began to follow that in spite of what anybody else had to say. I became a seeker. And that's where I met Adam. I was all on Meetup, going to different groups and stuff. And then I went to that group called Develop You. And in this group, I really did begin to develop. And people constantly would say, you're supposed to be helping people. You're going to be a speaker and all this. And I didn't believe it because I didn't believe in myself at that time. But then one person told me, she said, you're supposed to be a radical forgiveness coach. I see, you're supposed to be a radical forgiveness coach. And I looked into it, and the philosophy was right in alignment with what I believed, and what I was actually living at the time was in this victim consciousness. It's about shifting out of victim consciousness. So I got in the program, but I didn't just want to just flip through it so I can just say I'm a coach. Like I really wanted to do the exercises and clean myself out to be a clear channel. And through doing that work, it just kind of cracked me wide open. And at the time, one of the biggest issues was my relationship with my dad, because he wasn't there and he kept being in and out of my life. And at this point, I hadn't talked to him in 2 or 3 years. But after doing the work for about 3 months, I finally came to a place of real forgiveness where I could say, thank you for not being in my life, because that experience of being without a father has made me who I am, and I am awesome. And about 2 months later, he called out of the blue, and he promised that he would never leave, and we have been like this ever since. So that is why I'm here, because there is somebody so looking for something, seeking something. So maybe I have just a seed or something to plant that will help you blossom. And so my first question is, how many of you would say that you are a human being having a spiritual experience? How many would say that you're a spiritual being having a human experience? Me too. As you know, most religious texts, they say that when we die, that our soul either goes to heaven or hell. So I gathered that there must be some kind of presence of energy within the body. And I don't know if you've ever did this, but sometimes I'll look in the mirror and just kind of like really trance out and stare into my eyes, and I get this sense that there's something staring back at me. And I'm like, who is that? What is that? And that just really, really confirms for me that I'm more than my body. That I'm more than my mind, I'm more than my body. Like there is something else that is a part of this experience. And people give this energy many names. Some call it your soul, your spirit, unconditional love, or light. And today I'm here to share another name with you, an illustration of this energy presence in our human body. today I am going to call it pure potentiality, because we each have the potential to become what we intend and desire and believe that we can become. And so, first I want to share this quote with you. It's by Deepak Chopra. And what he says is, the source of all creation is pure consciousness, pure potentiality seeking expression from the unmanifest to the manifest. And when we realize that our true self is one of pure potentiality, we align with the power that manifests everything in nature. And in my words, I said, when we fully come to the realization and understanding that our soul energy is pure potential to be what we shape and mold it to be, again, when we stand in the knowing that this is our true nature, we align with the power that manifests everything in the universe. So my goal today is not to just utter words, but to paint pictures that will linger in your mind forever so that you never forget how powerful you are. And I believe that painting pictures bridges the gap between just hearing what I'm saying and understanding what I'm saying at a core level. So this will bring me to my first illustration. This clay today is going to represent, just go with me, this clay today is going to represent your energy, your soul energy of being pure potentiality, right? So I was at the hobby store a while, years ago, and I said, I'm going to buy some clay. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with it, but I knew it had the potential to become different things. So I said, okay, I can make some earrings. I didn't really know how, but I said, okay, I have some cookie cutters, I'll just make shapes. So, and I'm not trying to sell nobody anything. So these are the first type of earrings that I made out of clay, just little circles and hearts and stuff like that. And then I said, I wonder if I can make hoops. Does this have the potential to become a hoop? And I made like clay earrings that are also hoops. And then I said, I wonder if this has a, what else does this have the potential to become? And I made a bookmark, and I made coasters. It had the potential to become several different things that I intended and shaped and molded to be. And that's the same with each of us. Every person on this planet, we have the potential to become what we believe and intend, as long as it's, of course, within the universal laws of this realm that we live in. You can't intend to become a pig or anything like that. I just wanted to say, just in case it's going through somebody's mind. Within the universal laws, people. Okay, so
in case anybody was intending to become a pig.
Okay, so again, no matter where you are, each person, if it's China, Germany, here we are each of us has that energy stream within us. If you call it your soul, again, today we're calling it pure potentiality. And each of us emanate from this larger stream of pure potential. Many people give it different names, most commonly God. Today I'm going to call it the all that is, because to me it is everything. It is what we can see, and it is what we cannot see. It is the energy that penetrates and permeates everything in the universe. It is this that you can't see but you can feel when you try to pick up an energy ball. It is everything. And we are not separate from it. It is all. It is the whole, and we are extensions of that whole. And so, illustrate what goes in my mind, what goes on in my mind when I think about this. So, start down here and work. Alright, so I like to imagine a big, beautiful sun. This is going to represent the all that is. I like to imagine a big, beautiful sun that has billions of rays streaming down from it, and each ray is going to represent a soul, okay? Or pure potentiality, what we're calling today. So all that is choosing to project forth as soul energy that is me, that comes in as baby, that is me, that is you, that is Oprah, that is Michael Jordan, that is Hitler, that is the guy on death row. We each emanate from the exact same source. This is what they mean when they talk about oneness. Because at our source, we all go back to the source. Right? So this is pure potential, me as pure potential. And so we each may come in and have different missions of why we're here on this earth, but we all have potential to become what we shape and intend ourselves to be. So like, look at Oprah isn't any different than me. She just had a different mission, but she, more importantly, her intention, what the vision, what she believed that she could do with her potential is different from everybody else. Michael Jordan not only saw himself in using his potential as becoming a basketball player, he chose to be other athletes and use his potential in different ways. Look how Hitler chose to use his potential. You know, it's again what we intend, we intend to use our potential. That's what makes the biggest difference. So you can intend on being the person that goes to work and just come home and watch TV. You can intend to be the person that is going to create a business that changes the world. You can intend to become a bum on the street. You have free will, but you have the potential to become whatever it is that you want. Okay, and so some of you may be wondering, well, if this was me, well, if I'm pure potential, if I am the spark of the divine, then why do I, feel stuck? Why can't I get my life to go the way that I want it to go? And, sorry. Okay, so that brings me to my next. All right, so we each come in as pure potentiality. But let me read this first. Each of us were born as pure potential inside of a human baby body, to parents that are pure potential inside of an adult body. And each of us are born into this huge world of billions of people. Today we're going to imagine planet Earth. That picture that you see that's blue and it has the clouds over it, we're going to imagine that is representing the world. So each of us, we come here and we live in this world of billions of different people. This is going to represent the Earth, right? But we're born into families that have smaller perceptions of what this world is and how this world operates. So we have a family, we have a pure stream of potential energy coming in, let's say in China, to this baby. She has parents that are pure potential. They are they're in adult bodies now. But we have this stream of potential coming in and they name her Su Yang. And maybe in this smaller perception of how the world works, they learn Mandarin or Cantonese. They learn the value of family and education at a young age. And then let's say we come over here to the East Coast. We have another stream of pure potential coming down, being born to parents. And this parents, they name him Willard Carroll. And in this house, they are Baptist. He is one of 4 children, and they learn to value family and have strong bonds. And at a young age, he falls in love with arts and music, and his parents love him and they support his creativity. And then at about the age of 12, his dad has him build a brick wall that takes him a year and a half to build, to teach him the lesson that you can achieve anything as long as you do it one brick at a time. If you do it by brick, nothing is impossible. And his grandmother, let's say his grandmother at a young age told him, if you're going to be here on this earth, it is a necessity that you make a difference. So these are the beliefs and philosophies that have been instilled in him. And so he sets forth the intention that I want my life and my work to mean something. And so because he has this intention, it causes him to take certain actions. And he begins to study spirituality and work on his artistic crafts. And this person here, Willard Carroll, shaped himself in his pure potential energy to be the only person that has had 8 consecutive #1 movies and 8 consecutive movies to gross over $100 million at the box office. This pure potential energy stream we know as Will Smith. Okay, and then let's say just down the street, we're gonna go to the Johnson family. I'm sorry if anybody last name Johnson. Walker, we'll name a few Walkers. All right, so we have baby Robert being born. Okay, and so Robert is this pure stream of pure potential energy coming into this experience, and they, again, the parents, they name him Robert, and their philosophy about life, they are extremely religious. They believe that you have to work hard, and that although you work hard, you can't get ahead. They believe that in order to have wealth and riches, you had to have been born into a family that was already wealthy. They believe that there is a race of people that are holding them back from everything that they want. To sum it up, they believe that life is a struggle, and no matter how hard you try, you just can't get ahead. But just enjoy your friends and family while you're here until the man above calls you home, and you'll be clothed in gold robes and jewels. And as baby Robert grows up, they share this philosophy with him, and he accepts it as true, that this is how the whole world operates, because this is his family telling them, and they, it must be right if that's what your parents tell you. So he adopts those beliefs. And now if we're going to take a closer zoom on the satellite camera, we're going to just spend a day here. And let's say Robert is in the 3rd grade and he gets an F on his test, and his dad says, "Do you know how dumb you got to be to get an F on this test?" And his mom tries to comfort him by saying, "Well, everybody ain't meant to be smart. That's why they got fast food jobs."
Oh, damn.
And the parents just laugh.
That's what they were saying.
And then let's say later, the ice cream truck comes and Robert says, Dad, can I have some money?" Dad said, "Boy, ain't got no money. You better get a job." And later on, before bed, Robert says, "I think I'm going to start a dog walking business so I can have money for a bite." And his mom said, "You're probably going to quit that just like you did baseball." And his dad said, "Quit dreaming, boy, and get upstairs and study, dummy." Right, so this is more common than this. And if you want to just, keep it real, I mean, not some of us, we probably hopefully didn't grow up in this, but I know I witnessed kids growing up in this.
I grew up in, it wasn't too far from that, but I just was like, girl, I told my mom to sit down and take a nap.
But just from this short story, it's easy to believe that a little 3rd grader would come up with certain beliefs. What are some of the beliefs that you think he might have come up with just from this little interaction that we witnessed today?
He ain't gonna be, he's dumb, he's not gonna
Exactly.
have anything, he's only gonna be able to work fast food. He might as well quit everything because he is dumb.
Exactly. I put, he's dumb, money is scarce, my parents don't believe in me, my parents don't support me, you have to work hard, it's not okay to dream, I can't start a business, I'm not good enough. And that's reasonable to believe that a kid would come up with if he was constantly immersed in this, right? So it's, as we said, it's easy for him to draw these conclusions. And this is pretty simple. Like I know we know some kids experience much more harshness than this. So this was fairly simple, bad but simple. But we can believe that similar interactions like this probably happen on a daily basis in the Walker household, right? So if baby Robert is immersed in this type of thinking and criticism, for 18 years, that's over 2,000 days of brainwashing. And this brings us to the topic at hand. How did I lose the truth of who I am? This, the walkers. All right. So my next illustration is, again, we are pure potential. This play is going to represent the potential. And in order for us to come down from source energy, we have to be in a human body to have this human experience. The cup will represent the human body. So at this point, we are clear. We can set an intention and probably manifest like this. That's why they say kids are some of the best manifestors, right? Yeah. So the truth of who we are gets covered in those things we just named. A little bit of, I'm dumb, my parents don't support me, money is scarce, I'm not good enough, life is hard. All this goes to, I gotta work in a fast food restaurant. Right? This is how we lose the truth of who we are. We are literally walking around covered in false beliefs, lies, and garbage thoughts. This is him. Hi, I'm Robert Walker. This is who he believes he is and how the world works. What they say is that when we come into this world, that our conscious reasoning, logical mind has not yet been developed. So we're just accepting everything as truth. Everything we see, everything that we hear, what we're told, we accept it as truth. That's why they got us with Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy, because we just accepted it as truth. And then they say, I think around maybe 10, between 8 and 10, the lid goes on the subconscious and our belief system is set. And we spend the rest of our adult lives operating outside of the belief system that we learned when we were young kids. And we can't imagine that that is what's happening because we have our logical mind now and we can reason and we can say what's true and what I accept and what I don't accept. But then you did not. So whatever was poured into you is what is there and what is keeping a majority of us from achieving the life that we want. Is these deeper beliefs. And so I want this quote. Y'all know who E.T. the hip hop preacher is? Okay. This explains it so well to me. He says, there are those of you with phones, and every new phone that comes out, you get it. Every upgrade, you get it. Every piece of software, you get it. You are upgrading your technology and you've not upgraded yourself. You got the same operating you had since 1995. You don't think any different. You don't speak any different. You are the exact same person you were in 2010. I just love that. To say this another way, as a kid, we learn how the world operates from others. We learn how to feel about ourselves from what people said to us, the facial expressions, nonverbal cues, how we interacted with our siblings, teachers, not just authority figures. So your siblings could play a huge part in how you feel about yourself in the world as well. But all of this becomes your self-concept of who you are and how the world works. And so since this is who you believe you are, this is what you're putting out into the world. And so this is what you're getting back. You have false beliefs and it's lies, and they are low vibrating and they're pulling in low vibrational energy. And this, I'm going to illustrate them. Let me just get back. Okay. So we are all energy. I know everybody in this room already knows that we are all energy. And so are our thoughts, and so are our beliefs. And a belief is simply just a thought that you've thought so many times that you've accepted it as truth. So let's say we're still going to go with Robert. But let's say Robert has, bring it down. Let's say Robert has 4 core limiting beliefs. One is money is scarce. The other is I'm not good enough. The other one is life is hard. And the other belief is no one supports me. No one supports me. Sorry. I'm trying to make this look as much like okay. All right, so this is Robert. He ain't that happy. All right. So this is Robert walking around like this, and this starts as a kid, because once this stuff gets planted in you, that I mean, it's still energy, and it's still going to bring in circumstances. So let's say we're going to start as a kid and take him up as an adult. Let's say Dad didn't come to my baseball game. That strengthens the belief of I'm not good enough and no one supports me. And each circle is going to represent the energy. Okay, I didn't get a Halloween costume this year. Money is scarce. I'm not good enough. Life is hard. Nobody supports me. No one came to my birthday party. I'm not good enough. No one supports me. I asked her to go to the prom with me, and she said no. I'm not good enough. No one supports me. I didn't get to have a high school graduation party. Money is scarce. I'm not good enough. Life is hard. No one supports me. I lost my first job after high school because the business closed. Life is hard. Money is scarce. Probably no one supports me. My boo cheated on me with my best friend. I'm not good enough. Life is hard. No one supports me. Somebody stole my lawn furniture. Right? And even things, okay, now we have a logical conscious mind, and let's say he says, I want to go ahead and start that dog walking business. Because of these beliefs, something's going to happen. I'm going to sit down and make my business plan on Tuesday. Now all of a sudden he get a headache. Okay? Let's say he even makes the business plan, and now it's time for him to start maybe making some phone calls. And then now somebody calls him and they ask him to go to Cancun, and he goes. And he comes back, now he's distracted. If what you're wanting in your conscious mind is not in alignment with your beliefs, somehow this will find a way to veto that. No matter how hard you try. It's like, this is maybe we have 4 or 12% control up here.
8 to 12.
Okay, let's just say 10 so I can keep my math right. And this is 90. This has the most control of everything that we do, no matter how much we want something. Okay, this why people who know that, who set the goals to go and lose weight, even if the doctor tells them that they need to get healthier, if they got that belief that I'm not good enough, one is strong. You will go to the gym once, if that, and you'll make up every excuse not to go, even though it could save your life. And in our world, some people know that they have some junk to clean out, know that they have some self-work that they need to do, but there's something in here that keeps them from doing it, and they live like junkies from seminar to seminar, to book, looking for that thing. But it might have been in this book, but you won't do the work. Something in here is keeping you from even sitting down to try to erase all this. This is strong.
Even choosing to be around people that laugh at you, like you said earlier, or make fun of you for wanting to do the work and for buying the book and reading it. And you go to talk to that friend, and they say, put that down and go have a drink.
Yeah. That was my life. Literally, that was literally my life. And so this becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Your beliefs are creating your reality. This is a victim. This person thinks that life is just, happening to him, and that he has no control because he's constantly pulling in chaos, pulling in drama, and he thinks that this is just the way that life works. There is somebody right now that has the belief that life is dangerous, right? And they're going to spend the rest of their lives proving themselves right, because they're constantly looking over their shoulder, looking for something to happen. And of course, what happens? Some situation full of drama finds them, and they can say, see, I told you life was dangerous. Or a lot of us women know this. Let's say you hear people saying, men ain't no good, men ain't no good. The little girl constantly hears that. And then her dad probably has different girlfriends. So she just adopts that men are no good. So she'll spend the rest of her life proving herself right. If there is a liar or cheater in the room, she'll be attracted to him. So he can woo her and break her heart. And she can say, see, I told you men are no good. Now, of course, all that's done on an energetic level, but that is what is happening. This right here is what's happening.
So is there a way you can reset the subconscious mind?
Yeah, there are plenty of ways. Well, I think that the biggest thing, even before you get to how, is realizing what some of the beliefs and some of the issues are that are holding you back. Like, some people don't want to admit that there are things holding them back. Like, some people have, like, even, let's say ego is so strong that it won't even let them begin to do anything to dig up any of this. I know somebody like that right now. He wants something so much better than what he has, but I'll be like, okay, well, where are you stuck? I don't even know. What do you think some of your beliefs are? I don't really have no limited beliefs. You know what I'm saying? Like,
a lot of it comes out in conversation.
I agree. I totally
agree.
Listening
for it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I hear myself, telling myself stuff. I hear it mostly when I'm talking to somebody on the phone, and I go, oh, I didn't know I felt that way. And then I if it's something that I really like, then I play that up and I write about it. If it's something that I know that is not serving me, then I know that that's something that I need to work on, to reset, to deal with. But I don't, I no longer deny it anymore, because like you said, the thoughts aren't me. It's just a thought.
Exactly. And I think that is, people might feel guilty because of some of the thoughts that they have, and they're self-defeating, but it's not you, and I think once you come to that realization, that's why one of the #1 things to me is meditation, because it helps with discerning the voice that is going on. But so again, this is a victim. This person believes that they have no control over their life because things keep happening to them. Because things keep happening to them, they believe that this is the way the world works, because they're pulling in so much evidence. And I think that's pretty much what brings me, why I'm here today, is because there is somebody that wants to get on the other side of this. That was me. There is somebody that wants to hear this message, that they want better than what they have, but they just don't understand why they keep bringing in this stuff. And that's why I wanted to illustrate that, and that's why this is like really my message. And one of my clients, he said, but there are so many variables though. And I said, but it's only one constant. There's only one person that's always in the midst of all the drama. You. And
that's resistance. There are so many variables.
That's a limiting belief. Yeah, you just said it. That's exactly.
I said, even if, okay, let's say he lost his first job, the business closed, right? He could sit there and say, that's a variable because they invested the money wrong and they didn't put the money back in the business. But how did you get in alignment with that? How were you in alignment and not Fernando? Why did you stay there to the end when Marie probably got a new job 3 weeks ago?
May I say this? The common denominator is you, because it's not just about how it happened, it's what do you want to do about it.
Exactly.
Like, how do you respond to this? I mean, solidly and believably understand that we are the center of everything that's going on, whether it's our fault or not. But how are you going to play the hand that is dealt?
Yeah, I mean, and that's a really good point.
And not feeling like a victim just because something happened. You can choose to say, oh, this must mean there's a much better job for me.
Yeah.
I didn't belong to that company. What can I do now? What can I commit now?
That's true, but a lot of people have a hard time accepting responsibility for things that they think are out of their control. I gave another example of what about the person who's driving on the highway behind that truck with the debris and a rock that falls off and cracks your windshield. You'll say, but there's so many variables. Well, how come it didn't happen to Emmanuel's car and it happened to your car? Several years ago at a club, hanging out with my buddies, there was a shooting in a parking lot and my car got shot. I think only 2 cars got shot and my car had 3 bullet holes. It was one of them, like, I just fell out, like, and I was crying, like, why is this happening to me? But I lived like a victim. I always thought that something bad was happening to me. And I tell you what, I have more challenges now than I did then. Cancel, delete that, because I'm doing positive things, but I just have to say that. And I thought that the world was the worst and that basically God was out to get me. So I was always pulling in stuff because that's what I was putting out. So I was in perfect alignment for those bullets because I was living like a victim.
Well, you know, when I look at that, because I kind of had the same mentality, and I did see myself as a victim, but not the way other people look at it. I was a victim because I didn't have the knowledge that I needed for that situation. Like when your car got shot at, you didn't have the knowledge to park your car somewhere else. Like, you know, the other situation you're talking about where the guy was driving behind the truck, he didn't have the knowledge to, hey, I see a truck in front of me with rocks, maybe I should switch lanes. So I've had situations happen to me, and truthfully, I was a victim. It was out of my control. It was nothing I could have done differently to change or alter the outcome. I was a victim, as simply as that. I was a victim. But what I chose to do after that situation, after that trauma, was learn from it. So gain some knowledge that I could apply to a similar situation. But
And so that's the, go ahead, Jay.
I was gonna say, so you had an experience of you were not a victim.
I was a victim. I call the thing as it is. I was a victim in that situation. But what I chose to do after the incident was to learn from it. But going through it in the moment, I was a victim.
You'd be surprised though. You start looking in the thoughts and the feelings and your beliefs prior to that happening. You really look at it, and I mean really, and it's not easy sometimes. You'll start to see what led you to that.
Yeah, because
and you realize that, yes, it happened because you brought yourself to it.
Right.
That's that level of responsibility it's a step that's difficult for people to take sometimes.
In a parking lot, and you're walking to your car and someone mugs you, right? There was nothing you could have done differently. You were just an opportunity.
Because that's what it looks like. It's just not what it is.
Okay.
And
so in that situation, what is it then?
Well, to me,
it's hard to explain until you get something very personal of yourself. It's hard to
I
understand what it is.
I have a good, 2 good illustrations of what I'm talking about. My car parked in the parking lot, 7 cars got broken into. 1, 2, 3, my car's in the middle, didn't get touched. 4, 5, 6, 7. But I have another story where I'm arguing with my partner. I'm like, you know what? I'm on a higher vibration. I go out, get in my car, start it up, begin to back up, and I hit somebody. So had I not been feeling like a victim because of what my partner was doing to me, I wouldn't have been a victim in a car accident. I was in my house chilling. My computer is on the back seat of my car. I wasn't feeling like a victim. I was having a great day, and I wasn't a victim. 7 other people were though, and my car was sitting right in the middle, and could have easily been, I could have easily, had that person who victimized those other people do the same thing to me. But because of my state of mind, he could have had the key to my car, and I couldn't have a track.
she wasn't in alignment with that. she's done things to make sure that she is in alignment with things that happen to victims. Yeah, bad things can still happen to you, but what 100% responsibility is, and then like she said, it's hard to do. It's saying, it's looking at it from an objective perspective and saying, what did I do to put myself in this situation? What kind of thoughts am I putting out? What kind of beliefs? How did I line up with that BS? Because when you're constantly putting it on somebody else or why something happened, you're always going to be a victim. Your power lies in taking responsibility for the energy you're putting out. Go ahead.
So in essence, so you're saying that what you attract is basically saying that you're a magnet to what you attracted. It's because of your thoughts,
exactly,
alignment.
And it's not always, it's not always, it's not exactly what it is, but it's not always coming back in the form of, I cussed her out and we yelled and then so now I'm going to go to a program, somebody going to cuss me out. Like you think it's supposed to be the exact same thing you put out. No, it doesn't come like that. To me, that's low vibrational energy. So something of low vibrational energy is going to happen. You're going to attract that, whether it's a flat tire. Flat tire doesn't have nothing to do with this argument, but it's low vibrational. So if you're putting out,
I just wanted to answer what
go ahead.
Everyone was saying. Everyone, I agree with it. I agree with them, but I want to add on the taking ownership part of it. Using a car accident. I may have been doing the speed limit, I may not have been breaking the law and someone hits me. Well, my ownership part that I'm learning is I'm going to decide to leave at 3 o'clock. That allowed me to fall into that alignment, which allowed me to get hit. So that's how I'm learning to take full ownership for what does and what does not happen to me.
And just one more, I'm sorry. And then that what you learned from your reinterpretation of the experience was the gift you have been asking for anyway. So yes, the universe shifted things, had that experience, from that comes your harvest. So that was a blessing regardless. You have to understand it like that. I mean, you're asking for something, you're calling on universal forces to respond to you, and that may not look like what you want it to look like, but nonetheless, the gem in it all was that which you learned because you were already asking for the gem. You get me?
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, there's been situations where things happen and there was nothing I could have done differently to change the outcome. And whether I call myself a victim or not, I'm gonna leave it at that. But from a mental health point of view, I had to view myself as a non-victim in order to not become depressed or to not feel any negative emotions. So there's times when really bad things happen to me. I could have done nothing to change what happened, but I had to somehow in my mind look at it as some kind of way I attracted that to myself just so I can keep my mind right.
But that's the truth to me, because we live from the inside out. What you're witnessing in your physical reality is just an outplaying of what's already going on in here and here. That's why it's showing up in your reality. If it's not in your realm of belief or awareness, it's not going to show up. That's why some of us, that's why we're not going to walk out to the mailbox and there be $1 million check. That's not within our realm of believability, but somebody else it is. You know what I'm saying? Walk outside of their California house and there's a check. I didn't expect this, but then, sorry.
Crack yourself up.
It has a lot to do with how you feel and think about yourself.
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying, is living from the inside out. And so what is happening out here is playing out because of what is going on in here. So that's what 100% responsibility in learning the lesson is saying, okay, now this is happening. What is in me that attracted this into my reality? And to me, that's the lesson. Just to bring it home, I spent a lot of years attracting men that, you know, didn't mean me any good. I could go all day blaming them, or just saying I should just make better choices. But at the end of the day, that's still looking on the outside. You have to go on the inside and say, I don't feel good enough. If my dad didn't want to be in my life, why would any other man want to be in my life? Oh, that's a horrible limiting belief. Like, that will hold you back. That will keep me a victim for years. So it's it's going deep and asking those questions, like, why do I keep bringing these men into my life that they always got somebody? I kept always would say, do I have adulteress written on my forehead? Like, why are these men attracted to me? But I had commitment issues. I thought everybody was going to leave me like my dad did, so I attracted men who could not be available to me. So I had to start taking responsibility. It stopped blaming those men and start looking within me and why am I bringing them into my reality? And from that place, people can change. And now I'm in a much healthier situation than I've ever been in my life, and experiencing friendship and romance, something I've never experienced. And I know it's because of the work that I've been doing internally.